on our way up to the lake for the last time. And as you can see, I want to point this out. Look at how much it looks like fall. The ferns are all brown. The fireweeds have gone to seed. It's just amazing how fast it happens up here. It'll be interesting to compare this footage to the footage of when we first got up here, when the ferns were brand new and light glowing green, still unfurling themselves. And now here they are, ready to give it up for the year. Wow. This is the other smaller trestle that we go over on this journey, and I just haven't gotten around to filming it yet, so I better do it today. This is just a little slough off of the river, and it's a wider trestle and it's a smaller trestle, so it's not nearly as challenging as the big one. Rather pleasant, actually.
Hey, I'm gonna have you guys ride my Honda back to town.
Okay, and leave Steve's up there?
No, two of you, two machines.
Oh, okay.
You can ride.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah. Maybe you could ride mine so we can find out what that noise is.
Okay.
I just talked to a friend, he's gonna look at it.
Okie dokie.
I caught myself doing the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey on the propane hose, and that is lefty-tighty, righty-loosey.
Oh, Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Oh, okay.
Okay. One of the last minute things we want to do today is to clean up the last 3 trees that we felled last week. We need to, they're limbed. I spent the day limbing them after Jack felled them. So we just need to cut off the part that's not limbed and move them into our stack of usable logs over there, because those are what we're going to build the dock out of, and maybe part of the outhouse, blah blah blah. So final tasks for Lumberjack today before we take the saw down to John's to store it for the winter. Look at the beauty of this view now. So nice. Here we go with the big goodbye.
Better not hit your car.
No. That would be a bad way to go. Day 1 of our journey back to Oregon. It is August 25th. On the road again. This is Eureka Summit, and this is the highest point of the Glen Highway. You can see the Talkeetna Mountains and the Chugach Mountain Range. I'm not sure where they begin and end. And that's apparently the Nelchina Glacier coming down through the crack there. I think I had in error labeled that as the Matanuska Glacier when we were coming up, because I just made a brash assumption, but that's the Nelchina Glacier. This is, as I said, the highest point on the Glen Highway. Wow, what a view. It is very high country, very tundra and scrubby spruce, where you expect to see a lot of caribou. Good morning. We spent our first night on the road last night on our trip back to Oregon, and we stayed in a very nice state campground just past Toke. This is the Toke River State Campground. It's pretty nice. It's very close to the highway, so you do hear the trucks, but other than that, it was very peaceful. And Skookum is looking fine, handsome, and happy this morning. The Toke River is right over there. Looks like a beautiful day. We spent the morning getting our Alcan paperwork filled out so that when we arrive at the border this afternoon, it will be smooth as silk getting over. Fortunately, our mobile hotspot was working well enough to do that. Should have done that yesterday while we were still in Talkeetna. Ah, here's the Toke River. Isn't this pretty? Nice camp spot. This is, whoo. Yeah. Camp right here. Right next to the river. Very pretty. And the state campgrounds are only 20 bucks a night. It's actually 18, but we didn't have change. Jack is in the bus, hard at work, trying to track down where we can get the air shocks looked at, because the section of road we're going to go over after we cross the border today is really rough. The road is really bad. So he's finding out if there's anybody here that can check the air and the air shocks. Might help us navigate the horror of today's travels as far as the frost heaves and the potholes. We're going through an area called Destruction Bay, and it is really rough. There's Pookie. She seems completely settled into the traveling routine. She didn't even stay under the bed very long last night after we stopped. She came right out, cool as a cucumber. She wanted to get out of the bus and look around a little bit, which we let her do. Our last few miles of Alaska. We're coming close to the border. We'll see how far we get today. We're going to try to make it to Teslin, but that's going to be a really, really long day of driving. And the road is really, really rough between here and Teslin, so we'll see. Don't want to kill ourselves. At this point, we are 20 miles away from Canada Customs. We are now in Yukon. The actual border customs place is a few miles in from the actual border. We just passed the U.S. customs. And they keep a distance between themselves for some reason. We are waiting at the border going into Canada. For some reason there's some kind of holdup. Been here about 10 minutes and this line just ain't a-moving. Don't know what's going on. Maybe it's something exciting. Maybe a big drug cartel is getting arrested. Or maybe it's just a picky border agent who's making people show lots of things. Hopefully they won't want to see Pookie. That's what I always worry about, because it's going to be really hard to get her out from under that bed, if that's the case. Okay, well, we'll let you know how it went when we get on the other side. Well, it took a little while because there was a line. In May, we were not in season, you know, so now that it's August, there was a line of tourists in their RVs. And it was fine, you know, no problem getting through, but it did take a chunk out of our driving time today, so we'll see if we can make it. At least the Haines Junction might be a reasonable destination for today. The day is wasting away, but we're in the Yukon, we're proceeding. Good morning. It's day 3 of our trip back to Oregon. We drove like maniacs into the darkness of the night and made it to Teslin last night. This is the Yukon Motel where we stayed coming up in May. And Jack's checking the oil and all that good stuff. Getting ourselves a little organized. Part of the reason we wanted to stop here is because they have really good showers. So we are going to get ourselves all organized, go have a little breakfast, and hit the road. Tonight we'll probably stay at the campground that had all the bears at it, where we stayed on the way up. We'll see if we can make it that far. We begin our journey on the Cassiar highway today, which is a good thing because the other route is closed. They had a big accident on one of the bridges and there was a big tanker explosion. And it just wiped out the bridge, apparently, near Fort St. John. So, it's a good thing we're planning on doing the Cassiar. So we got here at midnight, and then this jerk in the horizon there pulled in like at 1 a.m. As you can see, there's tons of spots even before, but the guy parked right next to us for some reason, made a huge racket, plugged into our electric port. Jeez, what a jerk off. Stop on the one called Baby Nugget. It's a little RV park, store, restaurant. We're just stopping for gas. We pretty much stop for gas whenever possible to make sure that we make it through the long stretches where there are no gas stations. But that really has not been a problem. I think those days are gone. Those days are over. If you're driving up and down the Alcan, there's plenty of service stops. Alright, we just turned on to the Cassiar. This is where the ride gets interesting. This is the part of the highway that we saw so many bears last year.
Last year?
Last year, yeah, it seems like a year ago. Last May, when we were coming up.
You're right.
And we're almost to the campground that we stayed at last time, so I guess we're going to blow by that this time.
Yeah, we are 4 hours and 12 minutes from St. George.
From Prince George.
Prince George.
There's no saints involved here. They came marching in and went marching back out. Yeah, so we're gonna skip the bear campground tonight and try to make it all the way to Prince George to Mama Yeah. We'll see if that happens. That might be nice. And we just passed the official Welcome to British Columbia sign. So we are out of the Yukon Territory now and into British Columbia. And it's raining. And that's the weather. Clearly, there's been some major fires coming through here. And we can see ahead of us that there's a fire. There must be a fire somewhere because the sky is red and smoky. All right, we quickly realized that GPS was completely wrong about how far away we were from Prince George. I mean, like, way wrong. And we realized that we weren't even going to make it all the way to the bear campground tonight, because even that was too far. So we stopped at this place. This is, the facility is called the Red Goat Lodge, and it's got camping and RV sites and everything, and it's right on the edge of this lake. So this is our camp spot. Pookie's a little upset because we went too late last night and she woke up and it was dark and she freaked out. She was under the bus and then she just came out of there yowling because she just, I guess, didn't know what was going on. She hadn't been under the bed with the bus moving in the dark before, so she didn't recognize the situation. So she came out after we stopped and she hung out with us a bit, but then she slept under the bed and she's just been pretty much under there all day. She didn't come hang with us this morning. So I think she's a little beside herself. So we didn't want to drive too late tonight. We'll get an early start tomorrow. It's already like after 8, I think. So yeah, we're going to enjoy this beautiful view. Stay here tonight. Hopefully we'll make Prince George tomorrow. We'll see.
Here it's like the rocks grab the jump rope as it goes under.
And the wind is working against you too.
Yes, there's that added wind resistance.
Good morning. We are embarking on day 4 of the drive back to Oregon. We stayed at the Red Goat Lodge campground last night. It was really nice. It was pretty. Unfortunately, the idiot next to us had one of those great big huge RVs, and he had these neon lights that stayed on all night. I mean, it was the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen. So that's 2 nights in a row of obnoxious neighbors, but we survived. And we are still on the Cassiar, doing our second day of the Cassiar, because it is a 2-day adventure, the Cassiar Highway. Hopefully we'll see some bears or something fun today. It's not like in the spring where there's a lot more wildlife. We haven't seen anything really, except 1 deer, I think. Anyway, so that's our agenda today. We'll see if we can make it to Prince George today. Don't know. We'll see how the day goes. We did get an earlier start. We started out at 10 a.m., so we've got a good long day of getting wherever we get to. Oh, little bear. Oh, we missed him. Oh, there he is. Hi, bud. There's nobody behind me, so I'm just gonna be super obnoxious and stop here for a minute. Hi, buddy. He's adorable. All right, first bear. And we're right at the entrance to the campground where we saw the bears last time. Good morning, you two.
Good morning, you two.
We are in the town of Burns Lake, British Columbia, and we stayed last night. I'm going to show you. This is a little free campground. It's called Spirit Square, and it is adjacent to a little park over there with a beautiful little playground, and it's really pretty, and everything is just spotlessly clean because we're in Canada, eh? And we're on Burns Lake here in this campground. And like I said, it was free. You just pull in and grab a spot and sleep or whatever. It was actually really quiet. The sound of the wind in these trees is just beautiful. It just sounds like shh all night long. It's very soothing. And you can see, it's right on the lake here. It's very pretty. Quiet, not busy, but I imagine during the summer months it's probably a madhouse here. Because, I mean, geez, a free campground like this next to a beautiful park. The bathrooms are beautiful and clean and spotless. And, you know, it's amazing you can have a free accommodation like this and it's not trashed. I can't imagine that in America for some reason. And it is a lovely little town. It's called Burns Lake, as I said. I think we'll grab some breakfast here and hit the road pretty soon. We stopped in Burns Lake going up, and we happen to know that there's a good little coffee shop. So we're having our first cup in the bus, and then we're gonna button up and maybe hit that coffee shop for a second one. But anyway, beautiful Burns Lake Spirit Square Campground. Woot, score. We are still in British Columbia. It's beautiful. This whole area is just gorgeous. We drove through Prince George today and then got on the 97. And it's just been lovely. As you can see, the weather has improved and now we're into beautiful summer weather. It's pretty warm. Creek. We tried to snag a campsite closer to Cache Creek, but had to go back the other direction because their bathrooms were not operational, and without bathrooms we're boondocking and not having to pay for it. So yeah, anyway, here we are. This is the historic Hatts Creek Ranch, and we are having an unbelievable sunset here, so I wanted to grab a little footage of this. Hearing crickets too for the first time in months. The dry camping is just kind of in the middle of a field. it's not real glamorous. And there's the historic ranch and Jack J. Moo. We woke up at Hatts Creek Ranch this morning and decided to just hit the road early. And we were starving. We're almost to Hope now. And we stopped at this little place. It's like in between Yale, which is really not even a town, and Hope. Because we were starving. We didn't eat this morning. And we ate at this place, Somewhere Else Cafe. And I gotta tell you, it was really good. So that was a very nice surprise. And now Jack is taking care of the bus. And this right here is the reason that this trip has gone so smoothly. It's because of my MVP guy here. He got the bus all ready for the trip, and he's been maintaining it just absolutely with the greatest care. And boy, am I grateful. Thank you, honey. And just like that, here we are waiting in line at the U.S. border, going back to America, and it's hot as hell. It's hot, it's peoply, it's smoky, and boy, do I wish we could turn this buggy around and go back north. Whew! Oh, it looks like we're going to be sitting here for a while, too. Ugh. Well, here we are coming into Seattle right at 5:30, rush hour on a Tuesday afternoon. But at least Jack is at the wheel this time. And it's hot. After a long, grueling day of driving, Jack drove all day, and the day of driving included waiting at the border for about 45 minutes, baking like potatoes in the bus. It was so hot. And then driving through Seattle and Tacoma, and it was rush hour, and it was stressful, and the freeway was just roaring the whole time. And of course we had to have the windows open because it was so hot. Now we are here at this beautiful campground again. This is the campground that we stopped at on our way up, our first night of the journey. And we're stopping here for our last night of the journey. Yeah, this is gonna feel good. It's actually a beautiful evening, so I can cook outside, and we can leave Skookum open so he can get some fresh air. Pookie will probably want to come out and look around a little bit. I think she'll like it. So yeah, long, long, hot day. Yeah, that's the first thing I did was go down there and stick my feet in the river and rinse off my hot, sweaty face. It feels so good. Okay, I gotta make some food. It's been a long day. We're going to have a can of chili and a quesadilla. But the nice thing is I get to cook outside tonight and have a table to work on, so that's going to feel like a treat. Yeah. Morning has broken, and we have the company of a couple of beautiful blue heron just sitting across the river there. What a lovely way to start the day. There's the other one. Now I got them both. This place and this campground are the perfect cap, the perfect ending for this long journey and this long summer. Off to Portland in a little bit, and then probably tomorrow we'll go back to Grants Pass and see what we see. It's smoky. We know that there's a raging fire close to home, and the air quality is hazardous at this point, so it doesn't make you real excited to get there. But we got things to do, so off we go.